It was wrong. He was a minotaur. She was a handmaiden, fearful of the world and love. But as his velvet muzzle grazed her collarbone, her fears melted like the butter produced by his.
Oh, hello there. I didn't hear you come in. I was just cozied up in my snuggie by candlelight, sipping hot chocolate, working through this month's book club pick. In this one, she has sex with a cowman. This is contemporary literature now. Now, normally you couldn't tear me away from such compelling prose, but we need to talk about a serious problem infesting our board gaming hobby like a plague. A label slapped on every press release, every pastel box, every obnoxious anthropomorphic animal with a fake plastic smile. A word that trickles down from marketers and into the mouths of board game influencers everywhere.
Cozy games.
Cozy little board games.
Cozy games.
Cozy up with a blanket.
Cozy.
Cozy.
Cozy board games.
Cozy games list.
Cozy. Now, I'm not here to tell you that the entire cozy aesthetic is fake, or that you're silly for wanting to have a low stress and low confrontational experience. Hell, I also like cozy games. But somewhere along the way, cozy morphed from good vibes and wholesomeness into derivative gameplay and half-baked designs, all swaddled in fuzzy blankets by marketing directors. So today, we'll figure out what cozy actually means and how it applies to board games. We'll take a look at the evolution of the term and its inevitable hijacking, along with how it ruined aesthetic creativity. But most importantly, because I don't want to be entirely negative, we'll end on a high note and I'll share my favorite cozy games with you. Now, cozy can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, so let's nail down a working definition before moving forward. I would argue that cozy board gaming does roughly 4 things. First, the game must be low stakes. It should be built to relax you, not provide tension or excitement. Consider Dorfromantik. This thing is engineered for calm. It's just a cooperative tile laying game where everyone builds one shared landscape. No player elimination, no failure, just put the pretty tiles in their pretty place. Next, friendly aesthetics. The game should be visually appealing in a way that feels heartwarming and quaint. Flamecraft has cute little dragon shopkeepers running cute little cozy storefronts, all hiding a fairly vapid gameplay experience. But I'm getting ahead of myself. It's important that your cozy game looks exactly like every other cozy game on the market. That's really all that matters. And the next rule is that progression must be under the player's control. There's no flip this card and the game ends, or the game ends by turn 10, which does nothing but increase the amount of tension the player experiences. In Crime City, you're just scouring this giant map at your own leisurely pace, trying to find clues to find the killer. It's a calm and relaxing, but fun experience. Finally, the game has to have peaceful coexistence. The other players at the table are not there to disrupt your engagement with the game. Rather, their presence is like a helpful neighbor. So aside from the obvious cooperative games, think lanterns. You place your little tile, and every player at the table gets the lantern card. Now, a game doesn't necessarily have to have these 4 elements to be considered cozy, but I think that's a really good framework for understanding the subgenre. So cozy as a concept exploded at some point during the pandemic, and it makes perfect sense as to why. We had millions of people locked inside their homes looking for some semblance of normalcy and refuge. Cozy gaming became that refuge, an idyllic escape from an otherwise tense and uncertain time. And as a result, games like Wingspan became the lockdown game and acted as the poster child to the cozy board gaming boom, followed by Meadow, Cascadia, and of course Calico, because who doesn't love cute little cats sleeping on quilts? Me, but I'm a curmudgeon and you already know that. But there was another game that saw a giant boom during the pandemic, riding the wave of good vibes and comfort. Everdell. Oh, look at these cute little woodland animals doing people things. How adorable. Look at these squishy little resources. How comforting. Oh, look at these cute little unofficial fan-crafted accessories I can get for my game on Etsy. Adorable, right? Well, a few years back, the company behind Everdell decided they didn't like these cute little community passion projects. In what could only be described as the most ironic and ridiculous decision by a board gaming company, Tabletop Tycoon decided that during the pandemic, when everyone was struggling financially, They would send cease and desist letters to adoring fans in Etsy looking to make a little money on the side by selling their fun, handcrafted accessories that used the Everdale name. Now tell me something, do you think this would put a smile on the Chip Sweep's cute little face? Is this a decision that the king would approve? Would this make husband and wife mouse upset? Not very cozy if you ask me. Cozy was a word that players gave games that made them feel comfortable or relaxed. Now it's a word companies give you to sell a feeling they don't understand and can't guarantee their product delivers. And the hijacking here, it was deliberate because you can see the machinery. There are marketing directors and communication gurus running 60-minute seminars on cozy branding as we speak. As a creator, I am drowning in it. Hundreds upon hundreds of press releases clogging my inbox, wave upon wave of anthropomorphic slop, each game identical to the last one I clicked. Cozy isn't a feeling a game earns anymore. It's squishy components bulk ordered from China. It's watercolor art commissioned off Fiverr and slapped into shallow mechanics and vapid gameplay. Take Pergola, a quaint little watercolor garden game and textbook point salad. Now, there's nothing wrong with a point salad game, right? Like that's Stefan Feld's whole career. But here, your turn never feels like it matters. No matter what you do, your score lands in the same narrow band every single time, which tells you there's not much room for variation. It's light, sure, but light doesn't have to mean brainless. The aesthetics do all the heavy lifting, and because it's cute and calming, I'm supposed to pretend that half the actions aren't mechanically identical. And if I complain, I'm told that I'm just taking it too seriously, and it's just not for me. Because Cozy has become a shield against honest criticism. How about Cozy Stickerville? Once you're done playing a game that is nothing more than placing stickers and reading a storybook, you get to toss the entire thing into the trash. Cozy consumer waste. But maybe that's not your speed. Then you should try Gentle Rain, a game built for people who use therapy language in casual conversation. While playing, you constantly feel seconds away from somebody busting into your room to teach you about mindfulness. Is it a game? Is it a less interesting jigsaw puzzle? Who cares? It's cozy. And of course, I have to like Flamecraft. If I don't, I'm a gatekeeper keeping casuals out of the hobby. I thought I was just trying to shield newcomers from purchasing cozy skin mask slop. But the real problem with Flamecraft is that you can't make bad decisions. And that's the theme running through these cozy derivatives. Your choices ultimately don't matter. Every game, I feel like a passive observer watching a predetermined outcome. And no, it's simple and it's not for you, are not defenses for lazy derivative designs. Hell, I don't even need to passively observe most of these games that I play. This is how I like to play most cozy games. Now, normally you would wear your Manta sleep mask while in bed. But I prefer to use mine on board games that I think suck, because honestly I can't think of a better use for my Manta sleep mask than perfectly shielding my eyes from obnoxiously cute little dragons. And it's fully adjustable for my inhumanly large, board game rules-filled head. Best of all, the Manta sleep mask has deep eye cups that protect my beautiful tiny eyes and luscious man lashes. And I can't see shit with these things on. I can hear people yelling that it's my turn, but I assume it must be a nightmare because I would never consciously play Wingspan. This segment of the video obviously sponsored by Manta Sleep. Visit the Manta Sleep web store with discount code TabletopTurtle for 10% off, so you too can take your cozy gaming to the next level and get a good night's sleep during mind-numbingly boring cozy board games. But calm games, they don't have to be boring, and they don't have to make you feel like your choices don't matter. They can be simple and accessible while still being entertaining and engaging, and lucky for you, I happen to know a few that won't put you to sleep while you're playing. Look, there's not much we can do to stop this because it is fundamentally a marketing problem. All we can do is keep a discerning eye and remember, Cozy has been co-opted to sell bad games. Don't let light or beginner friendly or peaceful excuse a game being uninspired and hacky. New gamers, they deserve better. You as a cozy gamer deserve better. Cozy doesn't require the absence of agency and meaning to be relaxing, and we should demand creativity in all designs chasing our cozy little dollar. So, as promised, because even an old man yelling at clouds enjoys a warm fuzzy blanket now and then, Here are my 5 favorite games I actually find relaxing and that fit most elements within our cozy framework. Kicking off this list is a new game, Tenby. Tenby is a card crafting town builder where you lay terraces, piers, and landmarks into streets across 10 rounds. Tenby has just a little amount of tension in the turn order phase, but it's mostly a relaxing tableau builder. I'd compare it to Forest Shovel, except Forest is far more cutthroat. Here, it feels like I'm off in my own area of the city, fitting cute little pictures together. But the decision space, I think, is pretty meaningful and it's interesting. Do I push a street longer? Or do I break off and start a new one? Do I scoop the landmark and set my sights on getting the most seagulls? And I think there's a genuine happiness when the building you want goes unpicked when it's not your turn on the draft. The game is light. Yeah, but you have a lot of agency on your turn, and being able to control the turn order, it matters a lot. Tenby is a wonderfully charming game at a great price. And at number 4, we have the fantastic River of Gold. River of Gold is a dice-driven game that has players sailing a boat down a shared river, spending a single die roll each turn to move, build, or deliver goods. Okay, so I admit that River of Gold doesn't fit all of the criteria, since the ending does come with a slight bit of tension. But it hits all the other marks. It really does feel like the friendliest Euro in my collection. It generally feels pleasant sailing down this river and helping others while you simultaneously help yourself. Each choice feels meaningful and interesting with each die roll, which you can also mitigate without feeling sort of stressful or anxiety-inducing. Plus, it has a fantastic, charming, and chill aesthetic that I absolutely love. River of Gold is an easy entry on this list. And coming in at number 3 is one of Kim's favorite games, Patchwork. Patchwork is a 2-player quilt making game where you place Tetris-shaped fabric pieces into a small personal board to collect as many buttons as possible. Yes, the theme here is obviously adorable, 2 people sewing quilts together. But it's one of Rosenberg's best because it's so beautifully distilled. No 100 action worker placement spots here. You pick from a few tiles and decide where to place them. And the clever bit, the buttons you spend as currency are also your victory points, so every purchase is a challenging decision. There's competition, yes, but you and your opponents decide how cutthroat it gets, which is exactly why these are my favorite kind of cozy games. Laid back one night, vicious the next, it's your choice. Patchwork is an obvious classic, and you knew it would be here. And my second favorite cozy game, Lacuna. Lacuna is a 2-player abstract on a cloth mat. Place a pawn between 2 matching flowers to claim them, then at the end of the game, settle the rest of the flowers in the most gentlest area control battle imaginable. I had to get past the word cozy that was sitting right there in the first line of the rulebook, since I've been primed to picture cozy as essentially the equivalent of a 90s businessman in shoulder pads saying synergy, but I am glad I did, because this one is great. And it's really creative. Like Patchwork, it's as cutthroat as you want it to be. A theme you're gonna notice throughout this list. There's something calming about just placing a token in open space to grab flowers. And because there are no fixed spaces, the player area feels very open and way deeper than a game this easy to teach has any right to be. It's chill, it's genuinely fun, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. I hate the dumb tube box because it's weird to fit on my bookshelf, but I am glad I own this game. And finally, the coziest game of them all, Fairy Ring. Fairy Ring is a drafting and movement game where you stack mushroom cards into your village and send your fairy looping around the table, scoring points for you and your opponents in a variety of different ways. The gameplay in Fairy Ring is fairly simple. You play a mushroom starting either a new row or stacking one higher, while knowing each type scores differently. But the same card also dictates your fairy's movement for the round, so you're sort of balancing 2 decisions at once. It should be stressful, but it isn't. The whole puzzle is relaxing and oddly satisfying, light and non-confrontational, but never brainless and without interaction. And you always feel as if you're in control. Sure, the person next to you, drops a mushroom somewhere you didn't expect and sort of dampens your plans a little, but you don't really take it to heart. You just make sure to plan better next time. Fairy Ring is a fantastic, cozy game that nobody seems to talk about, and I think it's a real shame because I really do think it's one of the best ones. My goal was never to take cozy gaming away from anyone, or to imply that only liking cozy games makes you any less of a gamer. We're all gamers here. We all play for our own reasons, each chasing a different feeling. Maybe a game leaves you calm at the end of the night. Maybe you like a crazy party, social atmosphere in your games. Me, I feel calmest obliterating my enemies across a board. I reach a kind of chill nirvana, stepping over the tranquil corpses of my opponents. Regardless of why we're playing or how we're playing, we're all gamers. I just want us to stay vigilant against the constant barrage of bullshit. Everyone knows when a company is selling us truckloads of miniatures to bloat the price of a product or instill a fear of missing out, and content creators call this out all the time. But nobody points to the company selling you warm and fuzzy blankets and pastel vibes to emotionally manipulate you into gravitating towards yet another derivative pile of cozy slop. Because in truth, cozy is nothing more than the ability of something to provide a feeling of comfort. And the greatest crime publisher pull is trying to sell that feeling to games that haven't really earned it. Thankfully, a cozy game can be completely different for everyone. I sometimes feel as much comfort playing Stardew Valley as I do Dota, and these two games could not be more diametrically opposed. So that's it for today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and join the Patreon so you too can fund these like lavish outfits. The costume design in this video it cost a ton, so you gotta join now. Now, if you'll excuse me, it's Sunday morning, and that's the time for comforting tunes, tranquil farming, and the audiobook of my favorite cozy bovine romance.
Instructional video, and having a stroke right there in the middle of the living room. Is that what you want? For the last thing that sweet old woman sees is some minotaur getting a tug job?
I can see why this is the New York Times bestseller.
Her portal access was only good for another 8 hours. 8 hours in which to decide whether or not she'd be a good fit for the team at Morning Glory Farm.